Welcome to Podcasts. Imagine being hunted by your own police department while the bodies of your victims are discovered one by one. Today, we're diving deep into Dexter Season 2, the season that broke Showtime records and pushed our favorite serial killer to the edge.
And what an edge it was. The season premiered to over 1 million viewers, actually making history as Showtime's first series to hit that milestone with a season premiere.
Wait, really? I didn't know that.
Oh yeah, and it only got bigger from there. The finale pulled in 1.4 million viewers, which was the show's record until season 3.
So let's set the stage. Where does Season 2 pick up?
Well, it's about a month after the ice truck killer case. Dexter's actually struggling. He hasn't killed anyone because Sergeant Dokes is basically stalking him. Plus, his sister Deborah is living with him while recovering from her trauma.
And then everything gets turned upside down, right?
Exactly. The police discover this underwater graveyard of Dexter's victims. They start calling it the Bay Harbor Butcher case. And get this, Dexter has to work on the investigation of his own crimes.
Talk about workplace stress.
You know what's interesting? This was actually the first season where the show completely departed from the original Dexter novels.
Oh, I didn't realize that. Did that give them more creative freedom?
Absolutely. And they used it to introduce some fascinating new characters, like FBI Special Agent Lundy, played by Keith Carradine, who leads the Bay Harbor Butcher investigation.
And then there's Lila.
Ah, yes, Lila. Dexter's Narcotics Anonymous sponsor who, well, let's just say complicates everything.
Speaking of complications, can we talk about Sergeant Dokes? That cat and mouse game was intense.
The Dokes-Dexter dynamic was incredible. Here's this cop who's always suspected something was off about Dexter, and now he's getting closer and closer to the truth.
Yeah, and Michael C. Hall's performance during all this was just
phenomenal. Variety actually called it a towering achievement that overshadowed any rough patches in the show.
The Chicago Sun-Times went even further. They called it one of the best shows of the decade.
And Metacritic gave it an 85 out of 100 based on 11 reviews. But you know what really made this season special?
What's that?
It forced Dexter to confront not just external threats, but his own past. We learn that his father, Harry, actually committed suicide after seeing Dexter's true nature.
Oh man, that revelation must have shaken him to his core.
Completely. And it's all happening while he's trying to maintain this facade of normalcy with Rita and the kids.
Let's talk about that controversial finale.
Ah, yes, the ending that still divides fans. Lila killing Dokes instead of Dexter having to make that choice himself.
Some people call it a cop-out, right?
Yeah, there's definitely that criticism. Many fans wanted to see Dexter face that moral dilemma head-on.
But you could argue it was necessary for the show's future, right?
Exactly. If Dexter had killed Dokes, an innocent man, it would have fundamentally changed the show's premise of him only killing guilty people.
That's a really good point.
And despite the controversial ending, the season averaged 2.4 million viewers weekly through 11 weeks, up 21% from season 1.
So clearly they were doing something right.
Absolutely. Every episode had viewers wondering, how is Dexter going to get out of this one?
And somehow he always did.
Though not without consequences. This season really showed the toll his double life takes on everyone around him.
Speaking of consequences, let's talk about Rita's reaction when she starts suspecting Dexter has a drug problem.
Right, which leads to him attending NA meetings, where he meets Lila. It's like solving one problem creates an even bigger one.
The domino effect is pretty intense throughout the season.
And it all builds to this incredible tension where Dexter's trying to throw the FBI off his trail while dealing with Dokes getting closer to the truth.
You know what's fascinating? The way they handled the Bay Harbor Butcher's public image.
Yeah, some people actually saw him as a dark defender because he only killed criminals who escaped justice.
That moral ambiguity really adds another layer to the story.
It does. And it raises interesting questions about justice and vigilantism that the show continues to explore.
Let's circle back to Dokes for a moment. What made him such a great antagonist?
He was the perfect foil for Dexter because he saw through the mask from day one. His instincts were spot on.
Which makes his fate even more tragic.
Exactly. He was right all along, but that truth died with him.
You mentioned earlier about the show departing from the books. Was that a risky move at the time?
It could have been, but it really paid off. It allowed them to create this incredibly tense season that kept viewers guessing.
And set up future seasons.
Right. It established that no one in Dexter's life was truly safe, and his actions had real consequences.
What about the FBI investigation? That must have been nerve-wracking to write.
Oh yeah, they had to make it believable that Dexter could outsmart the FBI while still keeping the tension high.
and somehow make us root for him not to get caught?
Which is pretty remarkable when you think about it. We're literally cheering for a serial killer to evade justice.
That's the magic of the show, isn't it?
Absolutely. And season 2 really pushed that dynamic to its limits.
Well, we're running out of time. Any final thoughts on season 2's legacy?
I think it proved that Dexter wasn't just a one-season wonder. It deepened the mythology while raising the stakes in a way that kept viewers absolutely hooked.
And those viewing numbers don't lie. 2.4 million weekly viewers can't be wrong.
It really was lightning in a bottle. The perfect storm of great writing, amazing performances, and edge-of-your-seat suspense.
Well, that brings us to the end of today's episode of Podcasts. Remember, folks, if you work in law enforcement, maybe keep an extra close eye on your blood spatter analysts.
Especially if they're suspiciously good at analyzing crime scenes.
Thanks for listening, everyone. Until next time, stay curious and maybe don't open any industrial-sized garbage bags you find floating in the harbor.